This is actually our third annual sort of open house called DC Econ Unplugged. We always said we were going to do things bigger and better, and so this year, as you can hear from the music and everything, we're doing a little bit different. In addition to having an opportunity to sort of learn about housing or transportation or small business issues and really bringing all of sort of the DC government directors and leadership here, in addition to that, we wanted to make it a little active this year. So we've got live art out front, we've got music and performers, we've got opportunities for people to be able to take advantage of DC makers or food tastings, and so we wanted to provide a little bit more of an active atmosphere, but still provide the direct services that we know that our residents and small businesses want, and put it all in one place so they can easily access it.
It's important because it's giving people a vocabulary of what the city does. You've got the tenant people here talking about what the tenant is. You've got DMPED talking about the economy. But then you have every sector represented, including food and markets. So people understand this is what government is.
In DC government, we have lots of leaders who help make sure that DC's economy is strong.
We have a due diligence to fulfill the needs of the creative community. We have a wonderful, diverse, vibrant community in all 8 wards, but our goal is to make sure that we're providing jobs, providing training, and providing an opportunity for all the creatives to have a pathway to the middle class. So we have partnerships that are available for us to work one-on-one with organizations. We have a wonderful film rebate fund, but at the end of the day, you can live, work, and play here in Washington, D.C.
When you think Washington, D.C., you may not think fashion, but there's a group of people in this room that are changing all of that. Joining me on stage are some of the district's fashion leaders from the Mayor's Commission on Fashion Arts and Events and the Downtown BID, and they're gonna tell us how the city's fashion economy is heating up. So thank you, everybody, for being up here. Christopher, we're gonna start with you. First question is for you. Can you tell us what's going on in DC's fashion scene right now?
Well, thank you, Angie, for that handoff. I really want to start by saying there are a lot of great things happening in DC's fashion community. For starters, one of the big things that I'd like to talk about are jobs. More brands and businesses than ever are interested in opening storefronts or making Washington, D.C. their second home. Of course, a lot of that is driven by the fact that Washington, D.C. has one of the fastest growing creative economies in the nation, with approximately 170,000 jobs being created. Additionally, I can't forget to mention the fact that the larger interest that the industry has shown in our city with events like the Rodarte exhibit at the National Museum of Women in Arts, which really highlights the industry and highlighted acclaimed designers Sarah and Kate Molevy. And it's really those types of events which aim to support DC's fashion community. It goes without saying that now is a wonderful time to be in Washington, D.C. and to be a part of D.C.'s fashion community. And I'm really excited for the Commission on Fashion Arts and Events, our partners Downtown BID and the Bowser administration, as we continue to have meaningful and impactful dialogue about fashion and what that looks like in our city and how do we continue to promote its growth.
Absolutely, and we're going to get to Downtown DC BID in a minute. But thank you, Christopher, for that. I'm going to take it to Deidre next, who is our owner and creative director of Epsion. Deidre, tell us what's been your experience as a DC-based designer, and how is DC positioning itself in the larger fashion ecosystem?
I made the decision to start my brand here in Washington, D.C. I'm native to Washington, D.C. It's where I developed my own personal style, because everybody decided that we're all buttoned up in navy blue here. And when I took that to New York, it resonated with quite a bit of people, and it really launched my career to start showing in New York first. That's where I did my very first fashion show. And when I came back here, I had such a groundswell of local support, since this was my home state, and And DC welcomed me to the best venues. I partnered with wonderful charities and was able to do a lot of cause marketing, and that also propelled me at having these kind of local underpinnings set in stone for me, because I was familiar to the area, and DC really, really supported me through my first 2 or 3 years. And I make them largely responsible for where my brand is today. It was very good. And then as far as how I think DC is positioning itself now, we are on the world stage. We've made so many number ones on the Forbes list and other publications, and I'm super proud of. I'm really super proud of our little our little District of Columbia, because everyone wants to live here now. Just like Chris said, this is the place to be. This is a place to be, and we really have carved out a wonderful space for creatives in this city, and we're happy to be a part of people who are helping to do it.
And so, Deidre, do you think if you were starting Espion today, do you feel like you'd have to go to New York to do your first fashion show, or do you think, looking back on it, like when you started then versus today, do you think you'd do better having a fashion show or doing your first fashion show here in the district? Or would you still go to New York first?
I was standing up a luxury brand, so I really did not have the luxury of starting in a place that did not have buyers. I really needed to be strategic about making money, because a fashion show in New York will cost you $25,000 to $30,000 to get on that stage. But what you do get is about a list of 400 buyers, eyes on you. And that really, really helps you. It kind of is like a baptism by fire. You need that all thrown at you at once, because the big challenge is not that you make beautiful clothes. Can you handle and convert that attention you get in New York into dollars for your brand and make sure your brand survives?
Absolutely. Thank you, Deidre. Sounds like we need to get some buyers to DC too. Tell them come on down. To Marissa, as an attorney, in the fashion industry, your clients include fashion designers and creative entrepreneurs. What are some of the challenges that your clients face, and how are you working to help them solve it? So challenges for your clients and how you help as an attorney.
Okay, well, thank you. Great question. I would say the fashion industry is a very unique place, because in this industry there is a culture of copying, and it is something that is embraced. People see a garment, they work to duplicate that garment, and this happens all the time. It's been happening for a long time in the US. We don't really have strong protection when it comes to fashion. And so I find that many of my clients who are emerging designers, or designers who are sort of moving into the second and third tier of their business, they're really trying to position themselves in a way so they can monetize. And so in order to monetize, you need to own your intellectual property. And so what we do over at Howard University School of Law, the IP Clinic, and in the fashion law class over there, is that we are trying to help to train entrepreneurs in ways that they can protect their creativity. The easiest way, the best way, the most inexpensive way to protect fashion or to protect goods and services in a saturated marketplace is to protect the trademark. And that's something that's about $225 to $400 for just the application fees. And there are clinics all over Washington that can do that for you. The CFAE, though, is all about trying to make these connections to try to introduce creative entrepreneurs to all of the wonderful free resources provided by DC government and by our wonderful mayor, Bowser. And so, that's part of what our mission is.
Absolutely. I bet there are a lot of aspiring fashion designers in here that didn't even know they probably need a lawyer. They need to get lawyered up. So you may want to see Marissa after this. Thank you for that perspective. And taking it to Raquoy. Raquoy, I understand that Downtown Bid has been doing some work in fashion and also helping local entrepreneurs. Can you tell us more about that? And also, your pop-up, the rise of pop-up fashion stores around the area in DC?
Well, I'm here with the Downtown DC bid, and under the leadership of our president and CEO, Neil Albert, us at the Downtown DC bid have been doing a lot of different things as far as, we did a retail strategy because we want to enhance the experience, between the residents and the visitors here, to shop more. We want to bring more retail to downtown. And also one of the other things we're doing as far as helping, entrepreneurs, designers, things like that, we're doing the District of Fashion Runway Show. And it was a huge success, our inaugural show back in September. And what we want to do with that is take not just our downtown DC neighborhood, but also try to put downtown DC, just the district as a whole, on the map as far as being a fashion leader alongside, with New York Fashion Week. So we want to show people, not just people here, but internationally, that downtown DC, the district, the DMV area, has a lot of really talented people. We have a lot of very talented designers. We have a lot of very talented stylists and entrepreneurs, and we want to create a platform so that way these people can feel like they can thrive and rise here and not feel like that they have to go somewhere.
Is there a way we can follow what you guys are doing via social media so people can stay updated on some of the opportunities and fashion shows? Chris?
Well, definitely we want everyone to get involved with their local fashion community here in DC. And the way that you can touch base with CFAE on Facebook, it's CFAE-DC. And if you're on Instagram, it's at CFAE_DC. And certainly you can touch base with us also at our website, https cfae.dc.gov, and learn more about what it is that we're doing in the community and how it is that you can actually get involved and come to one of our meetings, because the way that we can really continue to grow this community is very organically and very grassroots, with the help of partners like Downtown Bid, with the help of partners with the Bowser administration and others as well. So definitely get involved. There are a lot of wonderful things, and DC really is fashion.
DC has a very active fashion sort of center, so we had an opportunity to explore that a little bit here at this DC Econ Unplugged. We have the new nightlife director, the night mayor, some people call him, coming up, but we've also got our alcohol and beverage folks, we've got our DCRA folks and some other people to sort of talk about DC's nightlife, which is an incredibly important component to existing residents and that attracts lots and lots of tourists here. And so for me, having an opportunity to showcase that here has been great.
And now we're going to get into our nightlife panel. Washington, D.C. is known for its culturally rich amenities, attracting people from around the world to experience all the city has to offer. And the nightlife is critical to maintaining its vibrancy. Joining me today are some of the leaders in economic development who are focused on ensuring the after-hour economy is thriving. Welcome our panelists. I tell Sean I got questions, man. You were a big topic of discussion on the radio when we found out there was a mayor of nightlife. I applied for the job, sir. No. No, I'm messing. All right, let's get the conversation on nightlife started. This first question is for Sean. Why is the nightlife an important part of the city's economy, and what role does it play in creating jobs and adding to the cultural experience that DC has become known for?
Thanks for having me. I think that the number one issue, or number one thing we have is jobs from the nightlife. So it's a job creator. Also, it attracts tourism as well. So we want to do everything we can as a nightlife and culture office to promote the nighttime economy, to keep that going.
And why do you look at nightlife as an important part of the economy, right? When we look at the economy, or you think about what makes businesses go or what makes the area grow, a lot of people may not understand how important nightlife plays a part. You think restaurants, or you think grocery stores or Walmart. You think big things are a part of the development economy. But tell us about how the nightlife economy really is important in DC.
So nightlife is a part of hospitality in general in DC, and it's one of the top 3 employers in this region in DC. So you have hospitals, you have the government, and then there's hospitality. And under that umbrella is nightlife, and that's everything from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. So that's a huge catalyst and generating revenues for the city as well. So we want to make sure that we keep it going.
Got you. And this next question is for Ernest, Jeff, and Fred. We need to get your perspectives, all 3 perspectives. A lot of things happen behind the scenes to make the nightlife vibrant. Tell us more about how your agencies work to keep residents and visitors safe. Safety is always a concern.
Well, from the Department of Consumer and Regulatory Affairs perspective, we directly impact the nightlife through our processes for establishing businesses in the district and also ensuring that the physical structures that people go to, whether it's a restaurant or it's a bar or whether it's a coffee shop, meets building standards in terms of code. As a consumer, you want to have the assurance that you are entering a facility that is safe. And not having to worry about the stress of the structure collapsing is something that is fundamental to operating activities. So we do a number of inspections, we provide permits, and we do enforcement activities to ensure that our residents not only feel safe, but our businesses are positioned for growth in this thriving economy.
Got it.
Our agency has investigators that work 7 days a week, 7 nights a week until 4 a.m. We conduct over 10,000 regulatory inspections a year. So we're out inspecting these establishments to make sure they're in compliance with the law. Between about 7 p.m. till 4 a.m., we have a hotline. The number's 202-329-6347, where residents can call. They can file noise complaints or complaints about other night activity in terms of concerns that they have. So that's one way that residents can do that. We also work with MPD and DCRA on task force and other types of activities like the noise task force, where we go out making sure that establishments are in compliance with the law as it relates to noise, making sure they have their certificates of occupancy with DCRA and other proper licensings to operate in the district.
Got it.
At DDOT, our primary concern is that people are getting to and from their chosen destinations as safely as possible. And so Mayor Bowser last year tasked us with working to identify ways that people can use ride-sharing services and other ways of getting there safely. And what we did was work together with our colleagues to create pickup and drop-off zones in some designated areas where there are a high concentration of nightlife activities so that people have some place to get in and out of those vehicles safely.
Got it. All right. So that's how you guys are keeping us safe. Also, now this is a question. I'm not going to say I wrote it down. I asked the question, but I found it to be very interesting. This is for Ernest and Fred. Question says, I want to open a bar. What steps do I need to take? Someone take notes and please pass it to me. Thank you.
Yeah, and I would even argue don't take notes because we live in a digital world now. So you have access to the video. But when somebody decides they want to start a business, it's an incredibly fulfilling activity because they are taking a risk. And they are also counting on the government to provide some clarity on the steps they have to take for them to fulfill their dream. From the Department of Consumer Regulatory Affairs perspective, we are not only the front door to realizing your business dream, but also we will provide you with guidance and counseling through our small business workshop. So while there may be about 10 steps in the process, we like to advocate for simplicity by simply encouraging any entrepreneur who wants to build a business to just stop by the office or, quite frankly, go to our website and look at the widgets we have to set up a business. Whether you have to make a determination on the right corporate structure or you have to make a determination on the type of endorsement that you need, those become secondary to contacting us so that we can help you navigate. So if there's anybody out there who wants to set up a business, we would love the opportunity to help you. I have members of my staff here, Vincent Parker. He oversees the business and licensing shop. We'll guide you through. So don't worry about the steps. Worry about getting in touch with us so that we can help you navigate the system.
I like that, Ernest. Vincent, I'll be seeing you about the bar situation. No.
With regard to ABRA, we have leaflets, information that takes you from step one all the way to the end. It tells you what agency you have to visit, what information or documents or licenses you have to get from that agency. So you know from start to finish what you need. Our actual application is online, so you can get the application, download that, fill that out. Additionally, we have a licensing specialist of the day, every day, where you can come in. They will talk to you about your business model and let you know, based on your business model, what type of license fits your business needs. Specifically, are you trying to open up a nightclub or a restaurant or a bar? Or are you trying to open a grocery store, a convenience store, a hotel? So we have different license categories based upon the business you're trying to operate. We'll try to work with you to make sure the business you're trying to operate fits the license you're going to apply for.
When it comes to licensing, because I think this is important as well, because you have to have proper licensing and whatnot, is that expensive for someone right now that wants to start a business? When it comes to the cost of that, can that become very costly if this is something you're trying to pursue, in your opinion?
So what I would say is for our agency, just to operate a restaurant for like 99 people would be $1,000 a year. So and that's for wine, beer, and liquor. The license is much, much cheaper if you just want to do wine and beer. So if you want to do wine and beer, you would be paying a lot less money. But as an example, wine, beer, and liquor for like a 98-seat restaurant would be $1,000.
And Ernest, you say, just come see me.
It's really about simplicity, because if the cost for setting up your business is, let's say, $300, we want to make sure that you have a pathway to being successful. So while you may pay licensing fees to us, we would also help you understand the different contracting opportunities within the CBE system that the district government has, so that you can get a higher return on the investment that you are making. And that is what is exciting in this environment where people are thinking about building their dreams and building in the city. Yes, you have to pay licenses because there's administrative costs for the system to work, but you have to look at it in the context of, what am I going to get out of this? And am I going to get certification that would allow me to compete for set aside contracts and procurements in the city?
Got it.
I would like to add that if you have outdoor space and it's on public space, you need to go to DDOT as well.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. Outdoor space. So like if I'm trying to have a little party on the sidewalk.
If you're trying to get a sidewalk cafe, for example,
right.
The permitting is through us at DDOT.
Wow, so then you'd have to kind of go through everybody. All right, that's good to know. Somebody write it down. Okay. Up next, this question is for Jeff, DDOT again. Why is mobility in the nightlife important, and how do you keep the city moving without clogging up the streets?
Well, I think the most important thing that we can do, other than keeping people safe, is to give them transportation options that don't require them to get behind the wheel of a car and drive. And so you've heard the mayor in the past couple days talk a lot about the importance of metro service and preserving that late night service. And that is because we want to provide people, both people going to and from those establishments, but also people working in those establishments, the best opportunity to get to and from those destinations safely, efficiently, and affordably.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And then last question for this panel. Nightlife activity happens right in our neighborhoods. What can residents do if they have a concern about an establishment? And this is for Ernest and Fred as well. What can residents do?
Yeah, certainly if a resident has a concern about an establishment, we would ask them to contact the City Call Center 311 and lodge their complaint. Our officers will process that issue. Sometimes it would involve us inspecting the facility and sometimes coordinating with our sister agencies like our ABRA to get a sense of whether there is any other activity, whether the noise is on a certain period of time, or how we can coordinate to make sure that the nuisance is abated. But the first step is to contact us. And the easy way to contact us is to use the city's 311 system.
Like I stated with ABRA, our investigators work 7 nights a week till 4 a.m. So you can call the ABRA hotline at 202-329-6347. The call will be answered by a supervisory investigator who can assign it for investigation. If it's during regular business hours, you can call and file a complaint on our main number, which is 202-442-4423. Additionally, liquor licenses are up for renewal once every 3 years, so you can file a protest. For example, in 2019, all restaurants, hotels, nightclubs, bars are all up for renewal, so there's a 45-day public comment period when residents can weigh in if there's a place that they have concerns with.
All right. Thank you. And then my last question is for Sean. If my name was on a guest list at a club, and then I get to the front and the security tells me my name is not on the guest list, and I know my name is on the guest list, I then get into a verbal disagreement with said security guard. At this point, I'm no longer allowed to come in the establishment. Do I come see you?
You could come see me.
That is a valid question. Happens every day, Big. Are these the types of complaints you're receiving as a mayor of nightlife?
I am the mayor's director of nightlife and culture.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, all right. Director of
Let me
nightlife
make that
and
clear.
culture.
We've been receiving all kinds of calls, but the priority of our office is to engage residents, district agencies, as well as businesses to sort of mitigate any issues that might arise in the nightlife. Also, we want to provide trainings to businesses, the owners and staff, active shooter training, CPR, first aid, alcohol awareness. So just making sure that these programs are readily available on a quarterly basis to businesses. Also looking at ways to, come up with a curriculum with training, working with DOES to figure out how does a bar back become a manager? Like, what does that trajectory look like? Oftentimes there's a lot of folks who they succeed in the nightlife business, and we want to make sure that we're providing, as a city, services to make sure that they're achieving what they want to do in the nightlife as it relates to their jobs in nightlife.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
DC's been really leading in business for a really long time, and I think having opportunities to showcase what we do, the agencies, all the hard-working employees of DC government is very important. And then to bring all these small businesses out, all these women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, for a networking opportunity like this is really, truly amazing. The turnout is great, and it really sends the signal that DC is open for business. And so really excited about this. We got to keep this momentum going, making sure that people are aware of all the contracting opportunities with the District of Columbia, all the things that we do to make sure that they have access to capital and support our small local businesses. Really putting our money where our mouth is and letting folks know that we truly appreciate them, that small businesses are the backbone of our local economy.